Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. I wanted to spend some time today talking about what is a hot candidate. I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds like a redundant topic, but I feel like we cannot talk about it enough. And here's why. I was working with a group of recruiters just last week, and the topic came up again. And every time, almost every time, I'm working with a group of recruiters or even on a one-on-one individual level, there's always confusion about what really is a hot candidate. And what we find more often than not is that recruiters who are trying to grow their desk and who are struggling really aren't working with those true A candidates or those real true travelers. And so at Moxie, we started several years ago sort of breaking up what is a hot candidate into different categories. And I want to share that with you guys in the hopes that it helps you guys really take a good hard look at who you're working with currently, who's in your pipeline, and who we should probably think about getting rid of and taking some stress off of our personal lives. So we sort of created, and it's not anything new or special or something that a lot of places haven't already done, but sort of these A, B, and C categories for hot candidates. But what we did was sort of break that down even further. An A candidate, what we view as an A candidate, is a true traveler. It's somebody who is open to multiple geographic locations, preferably somebody even with a compact license, somebody that's available within 8 weeks to start an assignment, reasonable pay expectations, and there may be a few others, when you think about what would be a hot candidate for your particular company. For example, if you're a company that focuses heavily on ER and ICU needs, an ER or ICU nurse might be, considered an A candidate for your company. Think about what else would equal an A candidate to you. But those are some of the ideas that we had. Somebody that's available in the next 8 weeks that we're looking at, potential positions for, somebody that we've got a full profile on, somebody that's open geographically to multiple locations, somebody that has reasonable pay expectations, right? A B candidate, on the other hand, would be somebody who's maybe not available for another 3 or 4 months. Maybe they're currently on an assignment with another agency, or they're just starting to think about traveling. They're somebody that has maybe more regional geographic preferences. Maybe they just want to be in the Southeast, or they just want to be in California, or they just want to be in the Midwest. You might have, a fairly a good amount of options for them, but they want to stay in a specific region. They might be somebody that only has a single state license, maybe just in the state of Ohio. Yes, we've got a ton of jobs there, but if it might not be easy to get them licensed to go somewhere else if they ever want to travel outside the state. They've got pay minimums. Maybe they are only willing to go for or nothing less than X amount of dollars. And, while you might be able to find them something in that pay range, it might not be something that you'll be able to find for them every time in that pay range. Maybe there's somebody that wants company housing versus taking the housing stipend. If your agency doesn't have a housing department and you're somebody that's going to have to spend time finding housing for your traveler, or taking the risk of, taking on that deposit, maybe that would categorize them as a B candidate. And then our C candidates. Our C candidates are those who are just kind of non-committal. They're nonchalant. Maybe they're interested in traveling, but they're working permanent, and they're just not ready to leave unless it's the right position. There's somebody that has a specific geographic location, meaning they just want to stay in the state of Ohio, or they just want to stay in South Carolina. There's somebody with high pay expectations. Maybe they want on that sort of upper end of the pay, that you could find a needle in a haystack for them, but it's not sustainable. It's not a pay range that you're able to continue to keep them working at. And I really want to talk about that for a minute, because we find more often than not when we look and work with our recruiters and take a look at their hot candidate list, that more often than not, the candidates that fall on that list are C candidates. And we spend a lot of time working with candidates who really want a niche area. Or we spend a lot of time working with candidates who really have these high pay expectations. And they're difficult to place. And yes, we may place them once, but then what happens after that? Then we're stuck with a candidate that's out of work and we don't have work for them. We just can't find the right position for them once this assignment's over. So I wanted to spend time talking about that today, guys, because it's stressful when we've got a hot list of candidates that we're working with and we're struggling to find them work. It's difficult to find something for them. We can't open them up to go to other locations. They only want to be within X amount of miles from home. You know, they're really good. She sent me all her paperwork. She looks great on paper. She's got a great skill set. You know, just because a candidate has a great skill set doesn't make them an A candidate, right? It's part of what would make them an A candidate, but it's not the whole package. And so I really, really encourage you guys to think about, what is an A candidate for me? An A candidate will always be somebody that you should have zero problem finding a job for them. You should always have an abundance of opportunities for them, whether they want to go to California or Washington or Arizona or Nebraska or wherever the case might be. It's somebody that you will never have problems placing because they are open geographically. They've got realistic pay expectations. They're a good traveler. They send you in their paperwork on time. They're great communicators. These are all important things. And when you start to work with people that fall outside of those A and B categories, it gets stressful. It gets harder to do your job. They become these time sucks that you spend a lot of time and energy on, but you don't really get that return. And I wanted to spend some time talking about that today because I think it's so important. And I think whether you want to admit it or not, a lot of people struggle with that. As recruiters, we get really excited about placing somebody and the opportunity to help them find a job, that we sometimes forget it's not always worth it if it's not something that's going to be easy and sustainable for us. Time is the only thing that we can't get back. I think about pipelines, and I know I've said this before, I think about pipelines as a pipe, right? Like plumbing. I think of it like a pipe. And if you have your pipeline clogged up with a bunch of C candidates that you're not able to push through and get into jobs, then when you do have those A candidates, you're not going to be able to flush them through your pipe because it's going to be so clogged up and junked up with the C candidates that you're spending a lot of time with. And you're not going to be giving the time and energy to your A candidates like you should. So yes, it will take more time to find those A candidates. Yes, it will be more difficult to find those A candidates. Yes, those A candidates are going to be highly sought after by other recruiters and other organizations, but it's important that you take the time to do that. Might be harder to grow your desk. You might be looking at your current desk of travelers and thinking, I might need to cut some people off of here. And the truth of the matter is, guys, do yourself a favor and do it. Give yourself the permission to let go of candidates that you know you're not going to have a successful long-term relationship with. It's a relationship. It should be easy. It shouldn't cause you a ton of stress and angst and worry and anxiety. It should be fun. It should be easy. So let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear how you guys sort of categorize your candidates at your agency. Give me some feedback on your thoughts on how we think that prioritizing candidates should be done. And hope this video was helpful. See you guys all next week.